Good morning and welcome to Smell the Coffee on this beautiful Thursday morning. You are joined by Diana Master. Now, as usual, this is Smell the Coffee, the show where we discuss light-hearted news so that we take away from the seriousness of the world, because there's already so much heaviness happening in the world. So for the next 25 minutes, here we just like to laugh and get silly and talk about things that are bizarre, celebrity news, things that make you go, what? I did not know that, or things that make you do double takes. Nevertheless, we will now take a quick ad break, and when we come back, we get straight into our Reel of the Day segment to start our Thursday off the right way.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises, from artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative Sport Tourism.
Now let's get straight into our Reel of the Day segment.
Beauty. You're still sleeping? Oh, waking up gives you anxiety, ne? Okay. Now, Kiri, you're setting boundaries. I just want to make sure that I see them. So you need space. Okay, Elon Musk. Gordon Ramsay. 3 eggs, bacon, cheese, bologna, 2 slices of avo, some bread, and some acha. So you're practicing self-care with my grocer. At least the one thing that doesn't give you anxiety is the economy. Okay, let me try and empathize. Ne? Private school, your own bedroom, Wi-Fi, swimming pool, and a PlayStation. And electricity. Yeah, no, I think you should see a psychologist because that, it's overwhelming. So according to your psychologist, you've got OCD, ADT, which doesn't make sense because you say this is not a safe space. Kante, the security is in you. So if it's not safe, it means you are not working for it to be safe. Please separate the yellow from the red and the green. How fetsane? Make sure that you sell them because we need to pay this therapist. Yo!
Honestly speaking, it seems like this is a universal problem. You cannot tell an African parent that you need therapy. You cannot tell an African parent, oh, I've got anxiety. But And they just find ways to make it so unnecessary. Like, oh, you need space. Okay, cool. You know, I don't know. I think it's just a universal problem because I've seen so many people comment on this, say that, yeah, even their parents are exactly like that. But what I do like, though, is that, especially with us, our parents are becoming more and more open to the idea of therapy, to the idea of setting boundaries. The olden days, it wasn't really something that was, what can I say? It wasn't really something that was, it was unheard of to say, I need space and I feel like you are crossing my boundaries, because they'll literally be like, oh, are you going to have dinner, or is your anxiety at peak today? Are you going to have dinner, or do you want your boundaries? They just find ways to just throw it in there. At some point, you just stop being depressed. Like, you know what? It's fine. I feel like in an African household, they say, if you're depressed, don't be depressed. Simple. You're depressed, don't be. The Koreans have one saying, if you can't make it work, make it work. Yeah. If you cannot make it work, make it work. Find a way to make it work. I don't care what you do. The end justifies the means. Just make it work. But anyway, we'll now take a quick ad break, and when we come back, we get into our top stories, and boy oh boy, do we have some bizarre news.
Do you like traveling?
Do you like to experience new places?
Well, then you should tune into On the Rock, where we explore enjoy establishments all over Namibia and South Africa. Great food, great fun, and so much more. So be sure to mark your calendar as we explore the beautiful landscapes of Namibia at the various enjoy establishments.
And where we also get to go on game drives, different activities, and meet the awesome staff of the different establishments.
We will see you there. Watch On the Rocks every Monday at 9 p.m. on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25.
Now, there was a story that was making the rounds on the socials about a teen boy who spent his life in a pond. West Bengal teen living in pond airlifted to Mumbai after Anant Ambani steps in. A video of a teen from West Bengal who lived in different ponds to get momentary relief from a medical condition shocked the internet. Soon after the clip went viral, Anant Ambani offered medical aid to the boy's family, and the teen was eventually airlifted to Mumbai for treatment. The Baldanga teen Iqbal spent days and nights in ponds. The teen shared that he would have a severe burning sensation across his body whenever he came out of the water. The condition prompted him to remain in water bodies for prolonged periods. A team of medical experts reviewed the teen's case after the video of him eating snacks while submerged in water spread online. On Anant Ambani's instructions, Iqbal was admitted to Mumbai's Sir H.N. Reliance Foundation Hospital for special evaluation and treatment. Now, according to his parents, he was previously taken to the hospital, but his condition did not improve. They revealed that they were unable to afford prolonged treatment. Locals often spotted Iqbal floating in various ponds at times until late at night. A dermatologist at SSKM Hospital explained that prolonged exposure to water can make skin pale and soft, making it vulnerable to infection, cracks, and irritation. Another dermatologist suggested that exposure to the continuous moisture from being submerged in the water can increase the risk of bacterial and fungal infections. Like I said here on Smell the Coffee, we share really bizarre news. This is actually quite sad that he's had to spend most of his life living in water. This is a real life water boy, because if he comes out of the pond, then he gets an intense burning sensation. But luckily, billionaires are using their money for good, so, he managed to get some treatment. So, of course, we will be keeping you updated on the situation and if the boy ever gets treatment. Now, in another bizarre WTF story, Tupac allegedly was cremated and smoked by friends and relatives after his death. Suge Knight told a wild story about Tupac, and it ends with his ashes being rolled up in a blunt. Suge, who was with Tupac in Vegas when the rapper was shot, tells TMZ immediately after Tupac died, his mom wanted him cremated. Suge says someone put him in touch with a guy late in the evening from some sort of funeral home. He asked the guy to cremate Tupac, but the man said he was busy for the next few days. Suge got the guy's address and went over to the guy's house with two bags, one with $200,000 in cash and the other with $1 million in cash. Suge offered the guy the bag with the $200K, but he said he wouldn't cremate Tupac that night. So Suge says he upped the ante and offered both bags. He says the guy was staring down $1.2 million and agreed to cremate Tupac right then and there. As for what happened to Tupac's ashes, Suge said the rapper's mom had people come to the Vegas hotel room where she was staying and rolled his ashes into several blunts, and they smoked him. For his part, Suge says he told Tupac's mom he was on probation and felt smoking Tupac might be a violation, so he passed. It's been 30 years since Tupac's death, and his accused killer is currently on trial for murder, though Suge tells people Dwayne Keefe D. Davis wasn't the only one involved in Tupac's assassination. Yeah. Fun ways to go. Now, last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago, we did a story on basically ways you can inconvenience your loved ones when you die. So some of them were being cremated and being put in pendants. Some of them were being cremated and being sold back as manure. So many ways. People are getting really, really, really creative with the ashes. I, for one, know that when I pass, I do want to be cremated. I'm going to get little pendants for my family so that they can all just walk around with me, because I'm not going to be left behind. No, 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 no. Imagine they go on a family vacation and I must be rotting 6 feet under. No, 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 no. We are going everywhere together. I did say that if they decide they're going to go against my wishes and bury me, they're all spending that first week with me in the cemetery while I get acquainted with my new neighbors. Nevertheless, that does bring us to the end of our top stories. Now, the NSSR finals are this weekend, and boy, oh boy, are we excited. And of course, NTV and Sport Rap TV are going to be live streaming and broadcasting all the action. So we'll take a quick look at this video, and then of course we'll get into an interview with Jannie de Beer that we had earlier on regarding the NSSR. Let's take a look.
We are joined in studio by Jannie de Beer, the Vice Chair of the NSSR, and we are going to talk about the exciting league. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, Nora. Yeah, lovely. Thank you for the invite. It's nice to be here.
Yes, I'm quite excited. I think off air I asked how soon, is it too late for me to join the rugby club? And you said I can actually join. So I'm quite excited to hear that sports is for everyone.
Exactly. Well, there's a massive focus on women rugby as we speak at this stage, especially from World Rugby side. But yeah, it's didn't take post, like it's only starting off in Namibia now.
Now, speaking of the NSSR, which is an exciting league for athletes and supporters alike, why is this a valuable league for Namibia and school sports?
I think it's all about opportunities for the players. Those boys, there's a massive focus on, I would think, for Namibia to qualify for the World Cup again. I think there's going to be, for us specifically from a high school point of view, it's very important that we put a lot of focus, in that regard, and make sure that we create opportunities for our players to be seen, and then obviously for them to get some exposure. And it's always been like that. Kids in general, they love playing rugby, and they always want to, give it their best shot. So for them to be able to play this game, and it's a wonderful game. It's all been part of our lives, mine specifically as well. And to have an opportunity to play, and to give those guys, those boys, opportunity to explore their talent and to get selected for national teams. That's the main focus, and hopefully, it will be one step towards Namibia qualifying for the World Cup again.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear. What are some notable achievements or milestones that you have encountered in the league?
Well, I think we spoke about it. We're very happy that Momentum is on board again as one of the sponsors. I think that's massive, and they've always been part of high school rugby, and it's been sponsors for many years. So, and I think there's some legends that came through the game over the years has been part of the Momentum Rugby League, and now with MyZone, involvement, it's just very, very exciting, and to have them back, I think that is a massive achievement as far as that is concerned, and I want to congratulate MyZone's involvement in making it possible.
I love that that they are involved. Now, what can we expect in this year's season in terms of sporting action or anything that you are doing differently this year?
Yeah, there was one or two suggestions that maybe we change the league somehow, and one of the things that actually came into the fore, we're going to have Super Saturdays this year, which I think is going to be very, very special. You'll have minimum of 2 Super League games at the same venue the same day, and that will most probably be combined with Reserve League, also under 15, under 14 games on the same premises for the same day. So I think there's even some of those games that I think there's 3, I'm not sure if there's 4 Super League games on one venue at the same day, but definitely there's minimum 2, maybe even more than that. And that is very, very exciting, because I think from a selector point of view, if you are part of the national selectors, you're going to have an opportunity to see players not only in your school environment, but also other environments, where they are playing, competing against each other on the same day. So you might be able to see 1 or 2 extra players that you've never known or didn't actually see them except seeing them on national trials. So if you see them playing in their team environment, you can see this boy is maybe a good option to have a look at later. So I think that is very exciting. So we're looking forward to that. That's definitely a massive bonus this year.
How many teams will be partaking this year?
Well, last figure I've heard was, I think there's 66 teams at this stage. So there's different leagues. You've got your Super League, which this year is also going to be massive. We've had 2 years ago, we had 7 teams in a league. Last year, 9 teams. And this year, it's actually grown. This year, it's going to be 12 teams in the Super League. So I think, there's 1 or 2 or 3 that I've seen. I'm not going to mention any names. That's exciting. But of teams that actually, are prepared to make that step. We've seen it last year with the Dynasig that actually decided to join, and they've had, very, very good success. And now some of the smaller schools, if I say smaller schools, the schools that's used to be your top schools and maybe your second league or reserve league, and competing for the B League final, etc. Those teams are prepared to step up, which is great. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. I think, to answer your question, at this stage we over 60 teams that gets into the league.
That's quite an impressive number. Now, speaking of development, what can you tell us about the growth of the league in terms of developing sporting talent and getting people together for the love of the sport?
I think from a development point of view, the Reserve League is maybe something that's very interesting, because the Reserve League is in that league, there's 21 teams in that league, so they will be competing against each other. Some of the teams will find it difficult, especially during the league, because they might not be as strong as some of the bigger schools playing in that same league, but that's just round one. So what happens technically in the league, you've got a north and a south pool. So there's 21 teams. So say, for example, 10 teams north and 11 south, for example. And then the top 6 teams will be divided. You know, your first, the team that ends is first and second will play. You know, in the northern region will play the southern region. You know, first the team at end top, say number 1, will play number 2. You know, in the Southern League, and then 3 and 4 will play against each other, and 5 and 6. So during that time, you know, the teams will sort of sort themselves out, and then it will be more, you know, strength against strength. So from a development point of view, some of those teams that maybe not up there yet, you know, it's going to be tough for them, but it's good for them for development purposes.
Yeah.
But eventually, when they get to the playoff stage, they'll be able to measure themselves if they are good enough, you know, and then they can still win a league, which is great. So that's one thing. I do know there's groups from South Africa. Not everybody, you know, is always keen on that, but I think it's a good thing, you know, that is prepared to travel through to Namibia from this, you know, from the south all the way through to the north, and maybe, you know, present rugby clinics, you know, just for the rugby development, which I think is very good. But just having said that, I must admit, we've got really very good coaches in Namibia as well, and people that really putting the effort in as far as development is concerned, you know, to see if we can drive rugby forward in Namibia.
And I think now people are wondering, when do the games officially kick off, and how can myself and the viewers, you know, show support to the league?
Well, to show support, that's easy. You just get involved. You know, you phone any of them from MyZone, and from a sponsorship point of view, because, you know, it's money that makes the world go around. So if people can get, you know, involved financially, it's always a you know, massive benefit. But you know, having said that, just being at the games and supporting is great. I think that's the main thing. But as far as the starting date, that is a tough one. We do have a date in mind, and everybody was key. Yeah, this is when we're going to start. I actually spoke this morning to Morné Rust, which is our secretary, and he said, you know, so many teams entering the league, which is very exciting, but it makes it difficult because the period in which you wanted to, you know, play the league is now so condensed that it's tough, especially. You know, if you prepare for 7, 8 Super League teams and suddenly you've got 12 of them. So you can imagine now you have to adapt that. But early indication was the first week of June will be the start of the league. But I'm not going to commit to that. Nobody can at this stage. We'll probably know more in the next week or so. But it's most probably going to start maybe earlier because of the amount of teams that it's actually entered the league, which is very, very exciting.
No, I'm quite excited, and I will definitely be at one of the matches cheering on for I don't know what, but you'll be guiding me and telling me, oh, that's what's happening now.
No, Nora, one of the matches is not good enough. You've got to be at more matches.
At
because
more
that's
matches, all right.
I'm just joking.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? I just wanted to say from our side, especially just something that just a step back last year. I remember when MyZone got involved during the semi-finals, when we had our playoffs last year, the excitement that was around the brand was just amazing, and I could see that because, you know, we obviously being involved with Namibia School Rugby for such a long time, and you see, you know, it's the same story over every week. But MyZone, you know, the sort of the opportunities that was there, marketing and just you know, it just created a totally different, you know, atmosphere, and we've seen it last year, especially when the playoffs came. You know, when the players go, so that makes me very excited because I know the idea of the brand is to say, listen, how do we get to the rural areas and how do we get to the smaller schools and how can we give them some exposure? So that is stuff that really excites me because I think that's the way to go. Otherwise, people will not know what's going on. And to give them a platform where they can at least see what's going on. Some of the kids are in the bigger schools, some of the parents, they don't even know what their kids are doing from a sporting point of view, and to give them some access, and that's always a very, very, you know, it's a positive, and I just want to thank MyZone for the involvement.
Well, thank you so much for giving us this insight. From us in studio, it is Tada.